to left center field. Back it goes and gone. The 0-2 pitch. He struck him out swinging at 101. Swinging a drive, left field and deep. Back it goes and gone. And the Twins walk it off again.
It is Friday at 9:35, which means we visit with Cory Provus from the Minnesota Twins play-by-play broadcaster on Twins TV. His appearance is brought to us by Welton's Tire Service, the Road Warrior, just back from Sacramento, California. The Twins go 5-5 on their 10-game roadie. They win 3 of 4 against the Athletics. We'll call them the Sacramento A's on this program. All right, so you made it back. What do we were visiting off air. Accommodations were maybe better than you thought in Sacramento?
I'll tell you this. I had all these thoughts and I had all these images and feelings about it beforehand. And after, being there for 4 days, bravo. I had a fine time. And the booth is great. People are fantastic, both the crew, but even the folks that work at the games, the ushers, very hospitable, kind. The weather was beautiful. You could walk to the ballpark from downtown where we stayed. I had a fine experience. I really did, and it was neat because the clubhouse is behind left field, so Rocco would do his pregame media session at around 4:30 local time, and when that would end, you leave and you're walking back onto the field, and that while it was happening during A's batting practice. So you're on the warning track and you got your head on a swivel here a little bit. You're looking around because can you imagine the flack that I would have taken from Dan Glad if I got concussed or if I broke a bone, if I got hurt because I wasn't paying attention to a live ball during batting practice? I would never live that down.
No.
So I thought, hey, I really had a fine time, and I would go back there in a heartbeat.
I will say I'm a big fan of Trevor Plouffe in the booth. What is it like working with him? And he's become a social media star with what he's done baseball-wise. I thought he was great with you guys over the last week. He's
a natural. He really is a natural, and what he and we agree on a lot of things is that I don't want to rehearse too much. Like there's some elements of the show we do rehearse because we have some graphics and things like that. But I told him, I said, hey, just if you come up with some stuff that, hey, might be a bit, might be an angle to take, whatever, don't tell me beforehand because I really want it to happen naturally. And I think that when that happened, it happened quite a bit. It made for some really good TV. And I think that the West Coast, the time change, I think it has a different feel to it that we do, I think, address it and televise it with a bit more of a looser format, if you will. And we'll take some more shots at different things. And I don't know why that is, because I still think we're getting a bunch of people watching the games, but there is something about that I think there's, for some reason, Dom, a bit more freedom. Yeah. And I'm glad it went over well, and he's great. And I hope that we can keep him. He's the kind of guy that, he's going to be doing. He's already doing national stuff anyway with his John Boy, amazing work. But I think he's going to keep climbing the food chain here a little bit, and so I hope that we're lucky enough to keep him for as long as we can.
I just enjoy his takes on the game, and his banter with you is fantastic. It really makes for a good broadcast. I'm not saying that because you're here. I wanted to tell you that before I forgot. I didn't know that Major League Baseball decided to schedule, and I joked with this earlier in the week, a postseason series in late May because the Twins Mariners felt like it with the 3 one-run games. Give me your sense of, I think we talked about this heading into it, that maybe 2 teams that are pretty similar. It certainly played out that way last weekend.
That was as enjoyable of a series that I can recall being a part of. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
I think the crowds were great. The games themselves played out dramatically. The Twins, 3 straight days, tied the game in the 9th inning. And then the game Friday, a week ago today, that to me was the best win of the season. Andres Munoz had yet to allow an earned run all year. Down by 3 runs to come back against that dude and that team at that ballpark man, that was something else. And considering how that began with Zebby giving up 4 in the first inning, you're like, oh, how's this going to go? And then he hung in there, man. I mean, Zebby pitched great. And then Correa coming up with that big swing in the 10th inning, and Buxton was a beast on the road trip. And then Wallner came. I mean, it was that series, you're right. That was about as enjoyable of a series that I can recall being a part of in the regular season.
Yeah, it was just filled with drama and some really good stuff. So let's go to some more drama that's not great. And with Pablo Lopez, and we saw the shot of him motioning towards the dugout with warm-ups before the 6th inning, and obviously he knew something. Cory, you're up in the booth. Are you watching warm-ups in between? Or I know you're probably doing 8 million things. When did you get a sense that, something ain't right here?
I didn't know that until Trevor did. You're right. So you're right. I'm not watching warmups. I'm not. I might watch more with bullpen guys,
Yeah.
especially when a bullpen guy comes in for both the Twins and the visiting team with runners on base. And to me, I'll watch some nerves if they chuck the first warm up to the backstop. I'm like, okay, this is something to follow here. There's a big moment in the game. But normally for starters, I don't watch it. Yes, during the commercial break, I'm doing a bunch of different, I'm looking something up. I'm talking to producer director. We're trying to line up traffic for what's coming next out of the
Right.
commercial break. So it was Trevor that said, "Oh no." And I was like, then when he said that, I could hear it in my headset. Then I looked up and we saw Rocco and Nick Paparesta, the head trainer, head out. And then we're all right, let's try to piece it together. Let's kind of, so when we see that, we're watching it live, and in the truck, they're trying to get video ready. Do we have the feed? Do we have anything where Pablo showed any tug of something, any grab of something? And we didn't have that. So at that moment, it's not good, but you cannot speculate.
Yeah.
This goes back, this is more college football training than anything else, where injuries happen all the time. You just can't. You can't go with it unless you see it. When Pablo hurt his hamstring in April, you see him grab at it, then I think that's fair then to say, okay, let's isolate that. But we didn't know. We didn't
Yeah.
know what it was, and we were hoping it would.
He got froze up here for a second. We'll get it back. There you go.
There
Sorry
we
about
go.
yeah.
Gotcha. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Obviously this is the same injury that Joe Ryan had, and that for Twins fans, they fear the worst because we didn't see Ryan pitch the rest of the year, and obviously Pablo's not going to throw again for a month. That's the fear. Are we going to see him? I know you don't have the answer to this. Are we going to see him again in 2025?
I think we will. They're not going to rush this.
Right.
I don't care how the team is performing. They're not going to rush this. So maybe it's September. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe end of August into September. That's kind of where we're at. And if the team is still kind of hanging around, and I think they will be at that point, what a jolt that will bring is to get this guy back. So they're not going to rush it, but I think he's in great shape. He's young. He doesn't have he has a history of some shoulder issues, but that was about 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. This is a little different because it's his teres major. So it's not a chronic area that I think is that alarming, that concerning. He'll heal, and I think we will see him pitch again this year.
It's just baseball is so your success is tied to how well your pitchers not really can throw, is to stay available. That's if your starting 5 or your main guys can stay out there, you've got a great chance to win, and it's so fragile of how your baseball success can go.
But wouldn't you agree that from a pitching standpoint, they've been fortunate
Yes,
this year?
yes.
I think they have been. I mean, Pablo, it missed 2 starts
Yep.
with hamstring, but that's been it. If you look across the baseball landscape, they have been on the more fortunate side in terms of limiting injuries, especially with their pitchers. So it's inevitable. It's bound to happen. You just hope when injuries do pop up that it's weeks, not months, depending on what the injury is. So this is a big one. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is a massive, massive blow. And Chris Paddock, I think, is the key here because the blow is tough. It softens a little bit if Paddock keeps this pace up because Paddock has been awesome
Really good.
for the last 10 starts, and he's going tomorrow for game 2 against Kevin Gausman. If he can maintain this pace, even with a slight regression, they're fine. I think that's okay. But if Paddock doesn't, if Paddock gets hurt, or if Paddock kind of falls back into what we saw in the past, then I think it's a lot more concerning. But right now, it's okay, because I say that because that's how good Paddock has been for this team the last, 2 months or so.
Yeah. Let's break. We got a couple emails to read to Cory, and we'll talk about an impending call-up and Royce Lewis's struggles at the plate. Much more with our guy, Cory Provus. His appearance is brought to us by Welton's Tire Service. We'll wrap up hour 1 of Hot Mic right after this. Welcome back, everybody. Wrapping up our first hour with Cory Provus. His appearance is brought to us by Welton's Tire Service. I got a text message to ask you. Dom, could you ask Cory if the A's have the loudest heckler in the majors? You could hear him all game long on the broadcast. I'm sure that gets into your headsets as well, I'm assuming.
I laugh at it, sure. But again, there were, they had small crowds.
Yes.
There were 8,000 people there a little bit, so in some more confined space. So that stuff's going to come across a bit more than it does at other venues. But yeah, we hear that stuff too, and I'll acknowledge it every now and then if it's a good one. If it's profane, then you kind of move on. You don't want to hear that. But yeah, it's all part of the experience. Yeah.
Sometimes make you laugh. That's the best one.
Sure.
Anything for Twins fans to worry about with Carlos Correa getting scratched? Is this anything major, or is this something minor?
He told me yesterday he expects to play tonight. That, remember, with Carlos and his plantar fasciitis, he has modified cleats. He doesn't wear metal spikes. And so he has rubber moldings, and they're thin. They're not very long. So I think for him, traction with the dirt that they had, the clay they had, and my understanding is it's just with the amount of work that field is getting every day. If not from the A's, then the AAA team, to the Giants that also plays there. It's really hard to keep that any moisture on that dirt, on that clay. And I think Correa, if you remember, it was either Monday or Tuesday's game, he stumbled out of the box one day, tried to switch his spikes, and it was a no-go. So he felt a little something towards his mid to upper back. He didn't feel anything swinging in the cage. It was more related to that. So the way talking to him yesterday, he's pretty optimistic he was going to play tonight.
The Twins, sounds like from the Star Tribune, are going to make a pitching call-up, and Travis Adams is going to be brought up to the team tonight. Reliever, he's been pitching out of the bullpen in St. Paul. Right-handed pitcher. What, we know much about this guy that's going to be added to the team tonight?
I think he's on the 40-man and homegrown guy. That's too bad because he went to college at Sacramento State, and the Twins were just in Sacramento, right. So it would have been kind of neat for him to debut there. But I think he's thrilled to get his chance. I just think the bullpen needs a fresh arm. I mean, Cody Funderburk has struggled. Jorge Alcala, we know his struggles. I think it's more about getting somebody on the 40-man roster that can throw. Strikeout rate down this year. His strikeout numbers were better last year, but he'll get a chance. Homegrown guy from the pen on the 40-man. So I think it's more about a fresh arm in the pen.
You have constantly, we've talked about Royce Lewis, his disposition of how well he rolls with things. Seeing him struggle like this, is that disposition stayed, Cory, with the fact that he's slumped as poorly as he has?
So I thought Audra Martin had a wonderful report. She joined us in the booth. It was either Tuesday or Wednesday, and we spent like a whole half inning talking about Royce. And Audra, throughout this long road trip, she had quite a few conversations with Royce, in the clubhouse. And the quote because I wasn't in Tampa, but the quote that resonated with me when I heard, hope is lost, I was like, that's not what I want to hear from this guy. But I wasn't there, but it was taken out of context. And I think Audra did a good job explaining that and reminding people that's not, he was saying this more in a sarcastic tone, but without seeing it, without being there, I didn't know that. He's still smiling, and he had a fun experience in Sacramento with his family. He had his grandparents there, his parents were there, his sister was there. He celebrated a birthday yesterday. So I think being around, his wife was there, his family, and still smiling, still having fun. And I think we saw some better swings. I think we did from Royce. And I'd say this, he's playing a really good third base. And that's something that I always wonder about. If somebody's struggling in one area, does that carry over into their defense? And not the case. I mean, the Twins as a team are doing really well at third base defensively. They're not great at second for some reason. No matter who's been out there, that's not been a position of strength. But third base defensive runs saved as a team, they're +4. And Royce individually, he's better than league average and outs above average at third base. So I would say that he's still got that smile, he's still got that swagger, and hopefully a couple of good games in Sacramento will be the catalyst to keep it going tonight.
Blue Jays, Cory, are in town. They've turned it around here. They've won 8 of their last 10. They're right now tied for second in the American League East. What do we know about I know the Toronto fans always love coming to Target Field of this year's Blue Jays team we're going to see this weekend.
They are scoring runs aplenty.
Yeah.
This has been an offensive juggernaut the last few weeks. And you're right, they've won their last 3 series. They just won 2 out of 3 against the Phillies. So they're hitting. And this I would be shocked if we're going to have these 2-1, 3-2 games. This is going to be, all right, the Twins offense, they got healthy in Sacramento against the A's. Great. Now they're stepping up in weight class against an offense that can match them, if not even perform better. So this is going to be about the boys, keeping what they had on the West Coast, bringing that back home and posting, because it's not just Vlad Jr. It's not even Bo Bichette. Guys like Ernie Clement, Addison Barger. This has been a really good lineup, top to bottom right now, that is confident and is going to come in with plenty of fans. We know that, like you said, Dom, plenty of fans behind the third base dugout, supporting them and making some noise. So it should be a great atmosphere at Target Field all weekend long. It's country music night tonight, so that's going to probably enhance the show even more. But yeah, it should be fun. And but the Toronto right now, yeah, they look really good.
Kevin Gausman is on the mound. We were visiting off air that you said to me that the pendulum eventually has got to swing back because the Twins love seeing this guy.
Yeah, and he's so good. He's a really, really good pitcher. But for whatever it is, I don't know the reason.
Yeah.
And the Twins, do they have something on him? Probably. They're never going to admit that. But if they have it, how come nobody else does? I don't know. He's really good. The Twins hit him hard, especially at Target Field. We all remember the playoffs in 2023. But they hit him hard last year, too, in Ontario. But you're right. At some point, just the odds will swing back the pitcher's way, but thankfully it hasn't happened yet.
Then after that day off, and then the Texas Rangers, the Rangers seem like they've completely underachieved after winning the World Series. I know they've been beat up, and they've had a ton of injuries, but DeGrom is healthy again, which is scary if you're seeing him.
Offensively, I don't know what's going on, why this team isn't hitting.
Yeah.
And that's been Corey Seager. He's been out, came back. He's not hitting. You know who's been a great player for the Rangers this year? Tyler Mahle.
Yeah, I saw that.
Tyler Mahle, former Twin, hurt, right? Didn't work out, bad trade. Healthy, and he has been awesome. So Tyler Mahle has been great. Jack Leiter, former high pick, Al Leiter's son, he's been throwing hard. So they've got pitching.
Yep.
They have pitching, but for some reason that offense just hasn't hit. And that's been, I think, been the most surprising aspect of the Rangers season so far.
It's great to see you, bud. I know you're excited to be back home. Thanks so much for doing this. We'll see you next Friday, okay?
All right, Dom. Take care, buddy.
There he goes. Cory Provus joins us each and every Friday. His appearances brought to us by Weldon's Tire Service. Twins and the Jays coming up 7 o'clock tonight. Day game tomorrow, 1 o'clock tomorrow, and then 1 o'clock on Sunday to wrap up the weekend. Then a day off Monday, and the Texas Rangers come to town. We'll break. We come back. We'll start hour 2 with the new guy that's going to be running the day-to-day operations of the Missouri Valley Football Conference. You'll meet Kyle Grooms when we start hour 2 on the Football Friday Hot Mic after this.